Hello, everyone. This is Antoine here, and once again, I'm with my lovely wife, Kristina.
Hello.
And if you watch earlier videos, maybe you can notice that we're a little more tan than usually.
Me not so much.
You not so much. No, I can still tan. You're a little bit more red than usual. That's because we just came back from our honeymoon, and in Costa Rica. So it was a very nice trip. And so we went through all of that, the planning and obviously living the trip. So we thought as a follow-up to the videos we did about how we plan our wedding, we would do a video of how we plan our honeymoon, because I really feel like it was the perfect honeymoon for both of us. And it was just the right amount of compromise. And anyway, it was satisfying for me, satisfying for her. So it was a great trip, a great honeymoon. I think so.
I think so too.
You also think so? Okay. So the video today, quick, short, easy, is how to plan the perfect honeymoon for you. So let's get to it. Kristina, what do you think is the first step when people are planning a honeymoon?
I think the first step would be to determine as a couple what type of trip you want to take, whether it be an all-inclusive, which is the norm of the honeymoons, an adventure trip, or something in between. And for us, it was more the adventure style trip. We didn't want to do the all-inclusive. We knew that from the very beginning. So we went into the planning already knowing that we wanted something a little different.
Yeah, I think it was an in-between trip.
It was an extreme adventure.
No, we looked at we thought about all-inclusives because we did one together in Cuba and we liked it, but I'm more of a backpacker and I like the adventure. So I thought the all-inclusive was a little bit lacking adventure. But at the same time, for our honeymoon, I also wanted to relax and enjoy some just alone time, the two of us, and not necessarily being on the road and backpacking and roughing it. Mm-hmm. So we did something right in between, not extreme adventure, some adventure, but definitely not in all inclusive.
And for me, I get bored quickly. So lying on a beach all day is not something that really interested me.
It's nice for a day or two, but then gotta do something.
Switch it up.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's not an all-inclusive, then there's some planning to do. But hopefully you both will like the same kind of trip, but maybe not. And so that's when you have kind of have to compromise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk it out.
Because I think there's always a way that the trip can be satisfying for both partners, even if their ideal trip is not exactly the same.
Yeah, well, I think as a couple, you need to list all of the things that you absolutely want to do on your trip, list the things that you don't want to do, and come together and find a balance.
Yeah, exactly. So for us, the balance was, it's not going to be an all-inclusive. It's going to be more of an adventure trip in Costa Rica, but at the same time, it won't be like a road trip or a backpacking trip. We stayed only at one place, like rented a house for 9 days or 10 days, but it wasn't all planned. We'll get back to that. Okay, so if people go for an all-inclusive, obviously the planning will be a lot more easy.
Yeah.
But still, people have to decide where they want to go. Mm-hmm. So as the next step, you decide what kind of trip you want to do. Then the next step would probably be to talk about a destination, right?
Yeah, and when we were deciding where to go, we thought that because both of us have traveled quite a bit, so we wanted to go to a place that neither of us had visited. So I guess as a couple, you have to figure out, okay, where have I been? Where has he been? And do we want to go somewhere brand new together?
And that's what we decided to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would recommend maybe both partners, both people in the couple can list out where they've been in the past, and then you decide, is there a place that you maybe both absolutely you happen to have been at the same place and you both fell in love with it, and then it's no question we have to go back to, let's say, I don't know, Paris or something, because we both liked it. us, we both travel, but not at the same destinations. And even though, let's say, I loved Argentina and I would go back in a heartbeat, I didn't want to go somewhere where I've been, but she's never been. I wanted to go to a brand new place for both of us, because it's kind of, it's kind of representative of our marriage. We start something. We just got married. Our marriage is something new that we start together. So I wanted to go for a honeymoon to a brand new place to have brand new memories. And in Costa Rica, for us, will always be where we've been on our honeymoon. It's our memories will only be about the honeymoon and not a previous trip.
Yeah, and that we always thought that a honeymoon, because it was our honeymoon, we wanted it to be a little different than just any ordinary trip that we would take. So that's why we decided to do the house on the beach and not the all-inclusive.
Yeah, exactly. And plenty of activities, but stuff that there was also room for improv.
Yeah.
Flexibility.
Exactly.
Okay. So we decided on what kind of trip we wanted, decided on the destination. Then what would be another thing to look at?
Well, one thing that's important, I think, is your budget.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go into you can't really plan a trip without knowing what your budget is. So I think that's an important thing to do before you start the planning process.
Yeah. Any particular way of doing that?
A budget?
Look at your bank statement.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at how much, if any, you have left after the wedding.
Yeah, and well, we had said that, since it's a honeymoon, it's not a regular trip, that, it's important to maybe splurge a bit.
Yeah, like we didn't want it to cheap it.
No.
We didn't want it to go cheap.
You don't want to go into debt either.
No, so it's a balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to make it memorable, but you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you'll regret it.
Exactly.
You got to be comfortable with your choices.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the planning? Obviously, it's a couple thing. So for us, and it will be the same for you. We just went through planning a wedding as a couple, and then you have some kind of experience, and then you're planning something else, another big moment or a big part of your life together.
And oftentimes you're doing it at the same time. We plan the honeymoon at the same time we're planning the wedding.
So basically, so what are the tips maybe to plan a trip together?
Well, I think if it's important that, it's good if there's one person in the couple that actually enjoys doing that type of thing, planning a trip. I know that you enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
So you took the
lead, yeah.
And planned it.
It was pretty much like for us. If you want to look back at our video about how we planned our wedding, basically Kristina was doing most of the research work, and then we would consult and decide as a couple. So she would always include me in the decisions. And for the planning of the honeymoon, it was pretty much the opposite.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm so into it. I love geography and all of that, looking at maps and distance and figure out how to get to a place. So I took the lead. I did most of the research work, but I always included you in every decision. So we took every decision as a couple.
Yeah. And
I think it's very important that both partners are involved in planning planning the honeymoon, because it's your moment to both of you. You
only get one.
You only get one, hopefully, probably, hopefully for us. But you have to put a little bit of you in the planning. So the trip is not reflecting only the personality of or the preference of only one of them. It's both of them, both partners, and it becomes a couple thing. So for us, I think the honeymoon ended up being representative of who we are as a couple, not individuals.
I agree.
You agree?
Yes.
So basically, if we wrap it up, start with figuring out what kind of trip you want to make, all inclusive, extreme adventure, if you're both into, I don't know, climbing mountains and stuff like that, or anything in between like we did, figure out where you want to go, probably a brand new place so you have fresh memories as a couple there. Then figure out your budget, and then plan the little details, or plan the trip together. It's perfectly fine if one of the partners, one of the two, spends more time, but always involve the other person in the decisions, and make compromises. It's perfectly, yeah, I think it should reflect the personality and the preference of both member of the couple. Thank you for listening. Don't miss out. Our next video will be how to travel as a couple without fighting too much. We came back from a honeymoon, we're still married, so that's a good sign. And if you're on the website, you can leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, actually click the link to go to our website and see our other videos, and you can subscribe to have, if you're planning your own wedding, you can subscribe to download our wedding calculator and checklist. So that's it for us. Thanks for watching, and let's talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.